Hi, and welcome to our podcast.
Podcast with RTX.
Not to be,
Yep.
to be confused with Red vs. Blues RTX.
What is that?
Definitely not.
Rooster Teeth?
It's their Rooster Teeth convention.
Yeah.
Definitely
I don't know
not
what
to be
that is.
confused.
That's a big oof.
We were here first, and if we weren't, fight me, IRL.
No, we weren't. Rooster Teeth's like nearly 20 years old.
Yeah, they're like
Nah.
really old.
Nah, I'd give my
We were here
address.
before Nvidia though. So
Yeah,
it's
props
and
was
that's
on
what
that one.
matters, I guess.
We beat Nvidia.
What a great time.
Boom.
Just
I'll
not
get rid
making
of
the
that.
money with it.
Okay, let me just
Okay.
inform
So-
my minions that I'm live. Wow, that wasn't even a sentence.
Fucking hell.
Okay, so first subject is
Minecraft
Earth.
Earth. Kid Sugar.
I've actually known nothing about this.
I have watched one
No.
or two adverts.
You've got the ducks up, right? It was announced in
Yeah.
Apple's little keynote they did the other week.
That's why I don't know about it, because I don't pay attention to Apple stuff, really.
I also did not.
That's a
watch
plus one.
Yeah,
No,
there's
no,
a
it's
trailer
that.
for it. We don't want you.
What's the point of it?
So,
Minecraft
as far as
Earth.
I'm aware, it's AR Minecraft. Am I right?
Hang on a minute.
It is.
Wasn't this thing like low-key teased years ago at E3 when
Yeah.
Microsoft was announcing they were bringing in like their own AR technology?
As far as I'm aware,
I
Do you
don't
know what
think
I'm
it
on
was at
about?
E3,
No, but Microsoft
but it has
teased.
been teased. Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft teased years ago. I say years ago. It might have been a good couple years ago. Like their like AR technology that they haven't actually spoke about at all. And they teased it. They started off like showing Minecraft and building it on a table, kind of thing.
I kind of
Mhm.
think I know what you're on about. Yeah.
So I think this might be something similar. Well, not something similar. Maybe they
It is
handed over the
this.
rights to Apple.
They're using Apple's new AR tech, which is
could be that then.
AR3, I believe.
I don't know.
It doesn't say anything about it here. But what it essentially allows you to do is play Minecraft through
Anywhere.
your phone anywhere.
That's
Okay,
kind of
but-
nuts, though.
It's
It
kind
is.
of nuts, but also like I don't see the.
I don't
how
see the
it would
point or
work.
the
Like, I
appeal,
get the
really.
point,
Put it this
like,
way.
yeah, like sit on a computer and play it.
Put it this way, though. VR's becoming a more bigger thing.
Uh-huh.
Augmented reality isn't necessarily as much, even though it's been touched on more so over the years.
It's the next step. Like, let's be real.
Minecraft is a very low poly game, easy to run on absolutely anything. Like you can run it on a phone, right? So it makes
Mm.
sense to mess around with something like this that doesn't use as much processing power or anything like that.
So I disagree. I think it's too early. I think
I think Minecraft's
No,
one
but
of
that's
the
what I'm
most
saying.
demanding games.
it's
Demanding
far
games for
too
graphics,
early.
even though
But
it's just
that's
squares.
what I'm saying though, because it's a lot more easier to like render out and stuff like that. So they're using this as a kind of like paveway to like maybe start the ball rolling, a little bit like with VR.
I'd rather
Just
them
that.
focus on VR and make
Yeah,
an
like at the end
addition.
of the day,
No,
VR's a fully established thing. I think AR.
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say VR is
fully
not.
established. They've got full body tracking and everything with VR.
And there's so many people in the competitive market at the moment as well.
Like AR, it's not
It's
new,
not really touched on. Yeah.
but not many people actually work with it.
I mean, I remember my first touch with AR was on the 3DS when you got the little augmented reality cards
Oh,
and
the
used
little
3D
cards.
camera.
Yeah.
So that was my first touching with it. So it's a thing, but it's like there's not much practical use to it.
Exactly. It feels very rigid. Like it doesn't have much of a use apart from just appearing on your camera and being like,
But it's
wow.
impressive.
It's
It's-
impressive to you, the one person using it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But it's also a bit more impressive than VR because you're not still like looking into a lens, if you know what I mean. I mean, you technically are, but like
With
it's
VR, you're pretty
effectively-
fixed.
exactly with AI, you're still kind of technically transforming the world around you. So like Pokemon Go does it. You can turn on your camera and little Pikachu can be anywhere you want. So it's like there's little things like that. It does change it, but I don't know how, outside of like hologram technology, I don't really know how far you can go with just like AR
feel like-
stuff.
Yeah, I feel like AR is very limited. Like, I feel like, fine, yeah, you can all work on a project like in this initial picture and then the image my page. Sure, like they all look really good, like they're having a really great time, stood outside, but like have you noticed they're all like really having to like hold their phones close to them and like you can only see a specific area. I feel like it's still gonna be rough. Like it's gonna be
What you're talking about with the phone being up close and stuff, that was for them to be able to interact. And it makes sense because if you're too far away, you're not going to be able to interact with it efficiently. Say you're trying to place a block. If you're miles away, you can easily misplace that. But you've got to get up
true.
close and personal.
Yeah.
Because
I just
especially
feel
your
like
character is where your phone is.
that's the problem. Do you see what I mean? Like when we wear VR, it's your entire field of vision is the play area. Like whatever you can see is within the play zone. And when you go to AR, you're limiting it to what your phone's camera lens can see. I feel like it's limited in that way, not in what its ability and
Was
what it can do. Just
it's
you
even
are
limited
yourself.
in like what, because if they make like a device that's specifically designed for AR, you have to make it compact, be able to run for a long period of time, be powerful enough to run it for a long period of time, and all that sort of thing. I think like it's still a very limited. I don't know if AR is ever going to take off for like gaming
I
wise.
think that VR really took the flagship with it, and that AR is really it really needed to have made its move already, and it's not, and so there's not
Yeah.
enough technology to keep up with what VR and other games are able to do at this point in time. So I can see its potential, but nothing has reached that yet.
Yeah, especially when you've got VR, which is like insanely more interactive
Oh, it's
than
so
Yeah,
AR.
100%.
good. Like they've just released the ray tracing. I don't know if that's the right word. Probably.
Ray
Um,
tracing. Oh,
yeah,
why is that?
they've
Why
just
does that?
released ray tracing with the VR, so that with the like Minecraft and stuff, you can do all of those
Yes.
things, and it's so insane. Like it's
Yeah.
insane to watch. I'm like, this can't be VR currently, but it's just people working so heavily on textures and how they look for VR that it's just so advanced compared to what AR at this point in time can produce.
And VR's like it's been in the game a lot longer. Like
Hmm.
if I'm right, I think the first VR system was the Virtual Boy. Even though it was a commercial flop and it sucked, Nintendo's VR system from like, oh god, when did Virtual Boy even come out? But it was so like you could only use it for half an hour before it would give people headaches. It was like that bad.
Oh,
It was like a black and red screen,
okay, yeah, I see
really
that.
violent
Do
colors,
you know
like
what? Do you know what? Rob was talking about this when we were
95.
talking about VR. That it was released in '95, yeah, and
Mm.
that because of the colors and the ways that they moved, that people couldn't use them for too long due to
For more
motion
than half an hour,
sickness.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd make them really unwell, and so that VR was the big step from that. But Nintendo really did take the step first.
And
You
it's
know,
like after that, it kind of killed VR for like a long time because no one could do
wanted to
it.
be ill, they didn't want to be unwell from playing
Mm.
it. Yeah, no,
They
I get what
didn't,
you're on about.
and companies they didn't want to be responsible for like anything
Injuries.
that would have been caused. Yeah.
Yeah, for copyright, not copyright claims. What's the word I'm looking for? Like lawsuits and stuff like that. Be
The
like,
thing is,
your
yeah.
thing gave me permanent migraines or whatever. You know,
Mhm. See,
chronic headaches.
VR has become more of a gaming thing, and AR has become much more of a, a general use for like workplace. So Rob works for a financial company, and he went to a big convention that they did for the company itself
Okay.
in Barcelona, and their big stepping point that they wanted to talk about was AR and how you could use it in the workplace and how that
Hmm.
you could use that to interact with other people that work within those specific IT departments with avatars, working with
Yeah.
AR so that you can work on projects at the same time, which makes more sense because AR is less setup and gets you to the point, but VR can produce more itself, but involves that bit of startup which you're willing to do if you're playing a game. So I think they've taken two different forks in the path, both
Hmm.
have important roles in modern society.
I like whenever I think of AR as well, I think of the sci-fi movie that has the table that brings up
Oh,
a globe and you pinch and zoom and like do
mhm.
different things and you interact with the things around you. Whereas obviously VR is literally you're supposed to be in it. You're supposed to be
Yeah, exactly.
in a virtual space, not
Exactly.
have a virtual
AR
space
AR is
surrounding you.
producing something within your world. VR is taking I agree with that fully.
Yeah.
Because Rob was saying that obviously when they were talking about projects and how they would make it work, they were being able to pinch and zoom in specific documents and then show that document, highlight things, and then pass it, literally fling it across the room to the avatar that happened to be somewhere else in the world while they were in Barcelona. And it's a really great piece of technology. It's just not had the amount of work and effort put in it by the community that the VR has itself.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But, continuing on from the Apple keynote the other day. We're on the second link now. Apple announces an all-new redesigned Mac Pro, starting at a massive $6,000.
Is that the one with the £900 stand?
That is the one with the $1,000
Oh, this
stand.
is the one. Yeah.
I'm upset. Okay, I'm an avid Apple lover. Okay, everyone around me has been like, "Oh no, like Android, you can do all these things, you can do all that," and I've been like, "No, like Apple because." It's slightly more expensive, but it looks nice and it feels nice and it feels effortless. I don't want my phone to, turn into a helicopter and fly away and do what it wants. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in my phone looking and feeling nice and simple to use because I'm not interested in all of those other things. But this is outrageous. This is beyond outrageous.
It's Apple.
£1,000 for a stand? Don't get me wrong, like, yeah, I've defended Apple fucking black and blue with all the things they've released. They've been a bit more expensive, but they've used more higher up materials, so they've used technology that costs more. So I can understand $1,000 for a computer stand.
Yeah,
that's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, there are arguments that it's not just a stand. Like there's tech in the
It's a fucking stand.
at the top of the stand.
It's a fucking stand. Like
which does what?
Shit. What does it do?
It's basically to do with balancing and stuff like that.
So it provides
I don't think there's
ergonomics,
anything in
which
here.
most PC stands should provide.
Oh,
yeah?
but it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, what can you do with it? Like my monitors have stands built into them. Like what can it actually do?
It's
Really?
basically where the monitor connects to the stand.
Yeah.
There's some tech in that little swivel part,
Uh-huh.
which allows it to basically balance on any angle you want.
Right.
Like from what I recall, I don't have the thing up because I didn't think I put it in the docs.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what it does, which still doesn't justify the $1,000 price.
Yeah. Because
it is just something else to do.
You can get swivel stands that probably do the same thing for a literal fraction of the price.
Yeah, it could
like
also...
I'm 100% sure that's the thing.
So I've just read this document here that basically the way that Apple marketed themselves is that they heard that most monitors will cost if they want a really good high-tech video editing monitor that will do it all singing or dancing will cost them £6,000, but for some reason without a stand would cost them £1,000 less. So they put their initial marketing at what the price they considered the thing to be at, and then made without the stand £1,000. So therefore the value of the stand itself must be £1,000.
Fucking insane.
Okay,
they've done backwards marketing for high-end products that they themselves cannot produce. But are still charging those prices, which doesn't make sense.
Wait, so do they sell them separately?
They sell the stand itself at £1,000, yeah, and they also sell the monitor itself separately, which I already knew about because at the end of the day, if I wanted a screen, like I've already been looking at 32:9 screens, double width screens,
an ultra wide,
which they're expensive. They're expensive for a screen, like £1,300 for a screen.
Yeah,
I would want one, yes. But I would not spend £1,000 on its stand. Do you know what I mean? I'd put it on the wall. I'd balance it on some books. Like I would not spend £1,000 for something that would just hold my monitor up when I own things in my house that do the same job for free.
But when it comes to the actual monitor itself, that is how much was it? Was it 4,000? Right? No, the monitor isn't a PC.
No way. So it's not like an
5,000,
actual Mac.
5,000 it sound. Well, it's like an iMac, like so it's all in
Yeah,
one.
it's not. You're saying that it actually has a tower as well.
Okay.
Is that what the cheese?
It's got a tower. Yeah, the tower is the cheese grater. But the monitor
It's fucking
is
horrible.
$5,000.
It's insane, man.
But
What like?
the
Who would
tech
spend
with the
that?
monitor
Oh,
is
is it Retina
justifiable.
display?
It's 6K, 32 inch.
How is it justifiable? No one can see above 4K.
Well, it's
What's the
not even
point?
that.
It's
Not
6K. What do you do?
there's
Well, I'm
no
not going to see that
Wait.
extra 2K except
there's
using
no
my bank
video
account.
formats that support 6K.
Ugh.
But it is 6K, 32 inch. And you know your like some TVs have HDR.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Apple have taken HDR further. They've improved like color quality and all that
But you're
like
not going to
stuff.
really notice it. Like if I wanted,
So
you know, if
they
I
don't have
really wanted to
HDR
spend that
anymore.
money, I'd buy like a 60-inch TV and put it
Yeah,
in front of me. You
But
know
the
what I mean?
monitor isn't for like everyday use. It is for like photo editors, basically editors in general.
So what it should not have been released at this release. It should not have been a focal point if it's for a niche market. If you're for a niche market, you specifically advertise to that niche market, because all you're going to do is make people think that you are diverting into this niche market of people that have too much money to spend on something like that. I understand if you work for a really like high up photo editing company that you have the money to spend on something like that, but the general everyday buyer, which are, you know, Apple's biggest market. Like almost everyone owns an iPhone or something Apple related
Yeah.
somehow. Everyone owns something or has owned something. You don't suddenly go into a niche market and make that your focal point if your tech release.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about their event at all except this £1,000 stand, and that's what has been their biggest downfall. They're just taking the piss. Do you know what I mean?
But people will buy it.
They will
Yeah.
buy it, yeah. But yeah, that's true. But like, do you know what I mean? Samsung produce a phone for the everyday person. They also produce monitors for the next level up, and then they produce business monitors. You know, those
Yeah.
outrageously expensive monitors that are the size of a wall and are seamless.
Yeah.
They don't advertise them at main events. They produce the screens there, they let people see them, and they let the right people find them. But it's not a focal point. And I feel like Apple have made a real big, you know, a bit of a mess up here with making that the thing that everyone remembers.
Especially like the display is 5,000 by itself, and
That's
then
awesome.
you need the
Ludicrous.
stand.
That's outrageous.
So
I
it's
literally was looking at
6,000.
buying a new PC setup with the things I had, and
You
it
can
cost me
get a-
$750. Like for the best things that I wanted as well, like $750. Like that's outrageous. That your monitor is literally like 6 times as much as that for just a screen. For a screen.
You can most 4K TV. I know monitors are more expensive, but most 4K TVs now are like way under $1,000. You can get no joke. The other day, I turned around to my colleague and I had said to him, "I've just seen an advert for a 4K 50-inch TV for £425." Like, and these guys, I get it. It was 6K, like massive, blah blah blah. But for $5,000, I don't remember seeing a TV that expensive since like the first iteration of HD TVs, where they were massive, like 50-inch massive HD TVs.
It's
Like back in the
when you think
90s.
about phones, like, you know, like the Nokia brick phones when they were like 150 coins.
Yeah.
This feels like one of those things, like, but it's just so outrageous because everyone already has a concept of how much the technology should cost and how much you're marketing it at compared to the current market. Fine, if you're competing for a future market, I understand, but we're not there yet. We're not at that point where people are spending $5,000 on a freaking screen, man. It's
No
just
joke. If you want reference to how much to like a $5,000 TV, watch a music video for Biggie's Juicy. When he's talking about Sega Saturn, Nintendo Sega Genesis, I never dreamed of a world like this kind of thing. You actually see the TV that he has. There's a 50-inch HD TV, and that cost him about $5,000. I remember reading it up.
wow.
And the thing is like what old CRTs used to be, where they used to weigh like a standard CRT used to weigh like about 15 kilo. It's like that, but like it's an absolute beast.
This is outrageous. I'm mad. Like, so the most
But
expensive
it is.
television that I can spot. Okay, so
It's brand though, isn't it? It's the Apple
Yeah,
brand.
you're
The
also
Apple
paying for the
brand.
brand.
but it's
Yeah.
not an excuse. It's not an
No,
excuse.
but
Okay,
that's the way Apple's pushed themselves these entire years.
but it's not
They've made you
acceptable.
want to pay for the expensive thing because you think it's expensive when it
But
actually costs
but
them.
it's
That
not
monitor
like.
probably cost them a couple £100 to make,
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, um,
if
Apple,
that.
I've always forgiven them because, okay, sure, the phone might cost like $1,000, but it's a phone. Phones have such endless capabilities depending on what you chuck in
Yeah.
them. Do you know what I mean? You've got face recognition technology, you've got the fact it makes telephone calls, makes text, can download all these apps, you can do AR, VR, it can do anything you want with it because it's a phone. It has such countless capabilities. This is a fucking computer screen. It sits on a desk and stays there. It
Yeah.
doesn't come with you. It doesn't do things. It's a screen.
It's the
Okay?
price of a new
I'm
car.
looking here at a Samsung from John Lewis. Okay, John Lewis bumps the price up. So let's just point this out. Okay. So this is a John Lewis, a 75-inch TV plus FreeSat 4K HDR 2000 screen is $5,000 at 75 inches. And that's and it's got a 5-year guarantee. Okay,
Yeah.
all Apple products come with maximum
1 year?
2 years, and you have to
Two.
pay for the extra year. Okay, this is out fucking rageous. Like, I
Okay.
love Apple off, and I'd never go into Samsung with a phone, but this is beyond. Like, this is a joke. Passionate about
You
it.
sound very passionate.
I'm just mad because I've
think
always
choose
defended
power as well.
their price set to other people when they're like, oh yeah, but they just overcharge. And I've always been very defensive because they have really tried to push things that people want, like, you know, with the sapphire screen technology where it slowly repairs itself, which I think is great because for someone like me, my phone is always getting little scratches all over the shop. But then when I go to sell it, it looks fine. So there's always been something that redeems it, but there's just nothing that redeems £1,000 on something that holds your screen. It's just outrageous.
Yes.
I'm gonna get some water because I've got that passionate about it.
I don't blame you.
You get your water.
Yeah, fully though. Like it's incredible. It's incredible how much Apple will push. Like
Content
their
launcher.
phones cost over £1,000 now. Like 4 years ago, they were costing about 600, and that was insane.
I would never, ever, ever buy an Apple product, and I've never owned an Apple product.
See, I have.
Just don't see the need.
I
at all.
owned like iPhones, and I bought
Really?
an iPhone. Yeah, I owned iPhone
Why?
because that was the
Did you
smartphone.
jump on the bandwagon? Like,
No, I started. My first smartphone was the iPhone 3.
I think
I went from what did I go from? I went from Sony Ericsson to an Apple phone, and then I was Apple all the way up until iPhone SE because it was just easy for me because obviously like the next you have all your stuff in it, you just boom, next one. I bought a
totally and
Yeah.
utterly. Like if I had gone Apple originally, then I'd probably still be with Apple now. That's the main crunch line. But comparing them both, and I am quite biased because I just don't like Apple. I just don't see the appeal. This just confirms it, all of it.
I think it's because it was like it's this easy, stable phone. Like never buy the meme is never buy a first generation Apple product. Of course, never buy a first generation Apple anything.
Yeah.
But
I guess it all started with the
can't-
iPod Touch. Really, let's be real.
Yeah.
When the touchscreen
Actually, no, yeah,
technology
if you
was
think about it, yeah.
probably that's
the
the
Touch was
big
my first
point
one. Yeah,
where everyone was like, okay,
the iPod.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when everyone started to get on board with Apple, and yeah, it led from there. Really, that's the only reason people
It's accurate.
still have Apple.
But I mean, like
don't know,
now,
like,
But if I would have had a
true.
touch, but I'd never had a touch. Like I never had the
owned a
iPod.
touch. I never owned a touch, and
I did.
I'm obsessed.
But did
with
you?
Apple.
Like, I was obsessed with my friends, like with the apps
my
and stuff. I was
friends-
like, wow, this is amazing. This
I
is
was
so
obsessed with
cool.
My friend's iPod Touch, and I personally think people buy into Apple because of how it looks and feels. It's the same with
I
Android.
disagree.
People
I
buy
just
Like, you see an
disagree.
iPhone,
what it
you
looks
know
like
it's
and
an
what they can
iPhone.
do. Exactly, like
Yeah, but
all the things have the same like
you can't
aesthetic.
talk
It's an
about
aesthetic. You're buying into the aesthetic. That's
yeah,
what
you
it is.
can't talk about aesthetics and like ergonomics when if you take, for example, there's so many like Samsung, HTC, every
the thing is-
smartphone on the
the thing is,
market is
Does it
just
turn you down?
The
as
amount of
appealing.
times, the amount of
and
times someone's come up
nice
to
to
me
look.
and just pointed at my phone and be like, "What phone is that?"
Is it Huawei?
They don't know what it is because
Is it
I
Huawei?
like that. Yeah,
I
but I
have a Razer
like
phone.
that. Why? I don't.
What
Yeah.
phone have you got?
I got the Razer phone
Okay, well that's
because
going
it's
though.
like it's
You
just
know,
it's just like a brick kind of thing. Do you
It
know
does
what
what
I
you
mean?
want though, but that's the thing. People buy phones because they do what they want. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? People don't buy phones because, well, I mean, that's a lie. Actually,
Any
people
phone
buy
on the
phones
market
because it's a
now
trend,
is gonna
but,
do
like,
exactly the same thing.
that's not
Any
true,
phone?
it's
No,
not
it is.
true.
No.
No, I
No way,
disagree.
no, it's
I
not true.
totally
Okay,
disagree.
you think about Samsungs can run like APKs, and they can run like emulators. Okay, you can't do that on iPhone. But
You can
get
run emulators on
You
that phone,
can run emulators.
but you have to
Only
jailbreak it.
It has to only jailbreak, or you have to find
Yeah.
specific emulators that work around the thing.
So what's
So
the
people
point
will
for
buy-
Apple then?
Because of the aesthetics, the way things look, the way things feel,
it's
the
security.
camera.
It's
And
the
it's
UI.
It's the
The
it's, yeah, it's the
UI.
user
Yeah.
interface. Yeah, entirely.
That is it.
entirely that.
Security of it.
Exactly that. But I buy Apple for the UI. I don't.
Yeah,
want
fair.
my
No,
phone-
no, no.
I
See,
don't
this
want
is
my
it.
phone to be able to produce all these games and stuff. I'd rather just spend the money and buy the legitimate thing. But that's not the
Well,
same.
no,
It's
no,
the wrong thing to buy
You
it.
can't say the legitimate thing.
What, to
in
buy like a
regards to
Games
what?
Boy instead of getting an emulator? That's what I mean.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, totally,
what
totally,
I
and
mean,
utterly.
like
But I don't use my Android phone for that either. It
But some
is.
people do.
it's-
Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they do. But then the crunch line is, okay, well, if you can do all that on a Samsung and you're new to phones, why not have the option to do that down the line as opposed to not being able to and going with that? Like, who knows? In the future, you may actually want an emulator,
Because
or you
people
may
want
want to do
instant
this, or you may want to do
gratification.
that.
We live
But
in
do
a
you know-
society of instant gratification. Like people want things to appease them for what they want right there and then.
And
That's that.
personally, like,
Do you know-
hang on, just one last point. on it.
Yeah.
With Apple,
Mhm.
right? Every time I'm on a phone, I don't know how to go back. I always go for the
Just
back
swipe.
button.
You just
Yeah.
swipe. You just
So
swipe.
it's just
Swipe
me.
from the left of the screen. I hate that. Okay, so Rob's got the Google Pixel, and don't get me wrong. If I was ever to move away, it'd be to the new Google Pixel
Yeah.
because
Yeah, it's nice.
he
yeah,
has
the Google
convinced me.
phones are
He has
nice.
Cameras are
shown,
really good.
shown me all the things and the great things it can do.
Yeah,
I love iPhone. I'd miss iMessage. iMessage is a big factor for me
but then
for
you've got
moving away. From
like, so
I can't.
much.
I don't text anyone. I don't text
WhatsApp,
anyone. Yeah, WhatsApp's great,
Snapchat,
but like it's different when you feel like
Messenger.
Yeah,
it's
when you
weird.
need to
I can't put it
download an
into words. I
external
can't
app to
Exactly, like it's not just the
Yeah.
phone. The phone itself produces iMessage to people with other iPhones. It's an inclusivity thing. It makes you feel part of something, and
I
it's
just don't
great
get it.
marketing. It's incredible marketing. the
No
way they've done
joke
it.
though.
I just
Uh,
can't get it. at all.
Alright, alright. So a good way to put it is, and it's two different brands again, but Apple is Microsoft,
Mhm.
Android is Linux. If you want to put it
Mhm.
that way, like Linux, the Android phones are for people who want to tinker and do stuff that they can't
Mhm.
do on Apple. Apple is Microsoft, where everything comes prepackaged and it tells you what you can do,
And you can
it
buy
gives-
the extras if you want them.
and you
And
can
that's
mess around it if you really know how to mess around with it. You can mess around with it. So it's like even with Apple's iMessage, you don't have to download WhatsApp. You got FaceTime, internet calling, instant messaging. You can group chat. It's a media service. It's almost like social. If they added in a thing where you could search for other people's numbers, then it'd be like the app. Do you know what I mean?
It'd be OP. It'd be,
It'd be
the
it's-
network thing.
So that's why people buy Apple, because it's just the ease of it. Whereas yeah, if you go
but
to
I
like
can't. I don't see the ease because I've never. Like, it's
Well,
a
I've used both.
personal.
You've
It's a
never used-
personal
never used it
standpoint because
yourself.
I can't.
Exactly,
Yeah,
like-
and every time I use an Apple phone, it's alien, and it's like I don't know how to do this, and
Well,
just give me
it's-
another phone.
I've
That's what I
I've
mean, like-
used both. Like obviously I've been so many iterations of Apple from the iPhone 3G. Actually, I think it was 3G, and now I'm on the Razer phone. I've never had as many problems on an iPhone as I have had with a phone that runs Android.
Oh,
Like
see.
the constant crashing, freezing.
Really?
The
Uh-huh.
UI is not as smooth. It's a bit
Because
clunky.
you can do more. Because there
Yeah.
are more potential for things to go wrong because there's more you can do with it.
If you've got more shit on it and more cluster and bloatware, sure.
Well, not
It
even.
doesn't come stock. Like mine is just bare bones.
But that's the thing. You've got bare bones. It's not going to crash because there's bare minimal to go wrong. But you're on the equivalent of what Apple runs, because Apple only allows you to run bare minimum. Like they upgrade and release more of what their technology actually does for things like military and things like that. They use things like the iPhone in like finger pressed guns, which genuinely exist. It's a genuinely great read. If you, like, honestly, like it really, like I've really gone into depth about arguments about Apple before, or debates is a better word. But like Apple used their technology with fingerprints in military guns. It's been a genuine thing that they've used, and they've expanded that. So they use more of what their technology is capable of in things like military. So Apple don't really actually have to ever worry about the finances they get from, people buying phones.
The thing is, that's probably because they've just got a contract, and when the contract expires, there's going to be some bigger, better person out there that's like
Apple are
actually the
continuously
technology.
producing the thing that they want.
Yeah, are they though?
Well, they're not producing what the
It's quite
consumer
stagnated,
wants. That's the
hasn't it?
thing.
Yeah.
It is for consumers.
What was the last big thing Apple has actually released where you've like, where any of you, no, okay, where you've been like, wow, okay, that's revolutionary. That's really game changing.
Animoji. I'm not gonna lie, that's the only reason I wanted. It's the only reason I wanted the iPhone 10 was just for Animoji, nothing else.
Do you know
genuinely was willing to buy it there and then.
I've never seen as many, like, wireless headphones have been a thing. Wireless earbuds have not been much of a thing. The AirPods, after they came out,
you then had the Galaxy Pods come out like a year later.
They set the trend. They do set trends.
What's it called? Beats have now have one. I have this one. I see this one brand that like it really sticks out people's ears. I don't know what it's called, but it's like really chunky. Like that was probably like the. It's not an uncommon. It's not like they invented it, but they
paved the way for it. No, I agree.
Exactly that,
they paved the way.
Trendsetters.
Yeah, Apple do that a lot. Apple do that a lot. Obviously the Walkman was there, but the iPod took over.
Yeah, dead on. I had a Walkman and then I owned an iPod.
I completely and utterly agree with that aspect of it. You answered the question of what the last big thing was. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I get
an emoji, like,
but
it's genuine. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy talking about anime. The amount of people that I've seen move across to iPhone that I knew had Samsung because they wanted to just send, like, Snapchat went huge because people take dumb fucking shitty, like 3-second memes that weren't actually memes, but they were funny enough between friends. And emoji was like, fuck it, let's just take it and put it into the basic principle of the phone. Texting. And
I don't understand what this is. But someone explain what an emoji.
An emoji is you can make like an emoji of yourself that follows all the details of your face: eye movement, eyebrow movements, mouth movement, nose movements, face movements, and it record a perfect emoji over your own face or its own recording of like equivalent of a green screen. And so you could send it as a text.
That's cool. That's cool. Like it wouldn't make me like be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a selling point for a phone for me. But when was the last time you used an emoji?
Well, I don't have it. I don't have that phone. I'm not willing to spend that money. I've got the iPhone.
Oh, okay. I thought you bought an iPhone.
No,
I thought you said
I'm passionate. No, because it's the only reason I would want to buy it. Like, I have the iPhone 7 Plus.
Okay.
The 8 Plus was exactly the iPhone 7 Plus. Like, there was quite literally zero difference. If you put the phones next to each other, they'd be identical. So I was like, I'm not buying that. Because this is a joke. And then they released the 10 Plus, which had, the 8 Plus had the anime. Like, that's not enough. Then the 10 Plus was released, and I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I would change over. And then, I became like crazy and couldn't work, and now I only have this phone with Wi-Fi. But like, life is still great, and life goes on. But like, I genuinely,
I love it.
But like, it is the phone I would buy because of just small features that I want that will amuse me. I just want entertainment in dumb shit. I can't put it any simpler than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
iPhone users want.
Hang on, Apple person best be on every podcast really brings the big fruity memes. I feel like you should be reading these.
On what? What?
It's in the Twitch chat.
I'm not. Oh, where is that? How do I open that again?
X is
I'm
the.
on it. I'm on it. Open. No, it's
Just
open.
right
But like,
there,
I've got
like-
not. I've got the screen half size, so I don't know how to open the
So
chat.
let's
out the chat.
divulge of Apple. Let's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Kasaki, keep going.
Do you
Oh.
really want to talk about Simpsons?
I'm not an
Hit and
Apple
Run?
salesman.
no, that's why it's red. We were
Okay.
going to talk
You
about it,
fucking are.
but
I'm not. I'm just pointing out the features that specifically
okay,
to
Ryan?
me were standout.
Ryan, just in through the
I'm just gonna
nose.
shut up. Like I'm gonna let you go through it. Do your thing.
Okay, so we were going to talk about possibility of Simpsons Hit and Run 2 because you know how the Simpsons had their panel at E3,
Yeah.
but they game-wise, all they talked about was how they were working on like a Simpsons party game, similar to what Mario Party would be.
Yeah, that makes
Disgusting.
sense.
But they were talking about having 20 minigames, and these minigames taking a year each to complete with their
how many
whole
got on
team.
the-
Yeah. So they were like, "Oh, this is going to be a 20-year project. Project. We're not going to do it."
Do you know what the last 20-year project was? Fucking Duke Nukem Forever. Look how that turned out. Ping pong from studio to studio, and it was the most hot garbage I've ever seen in my life. Because Randy Pitchford ran that fucking thing into the ground.
Oh, don't even
What I
start with
want to
Randy.
know, is they don't even need to do anything. Okay, all they need to do is just re-release Simpsons Hit and Run with better graphics,
Yeah,
and
they
they
need
would
to
have a
remaster it.
sellout game. They don't need to do anything. They don't have to do any work. Just re-texturize the game you already own, and
Yeah.
people will buy it.
Yeah.
They just released fucking what? Crash Bandicoot. It's the exact same fucking game. It's the same game. It's the same game, better graphics.
You
That
could
is-
say the same again with Borderlands to a certain degree.
Exactly.
Borderlands isn't the same game. It's got a completely different story for one.
I don't have any knowledge about Borderlands. I just know that they
So,
similar.
from
But
what
I'm
I've
just-
heard,
yeah, to cause clout.
from what I've heard, Borderlands 3 is they're playing it really safe. They've not, like Borderlands 1 to 2. There was like a big change in stuff you could do from Borderlands 1 to 2.
This
Like
is
they
why they
really
bought.
improved it a lot, right? They changed that game completely. Graphic overhaul, new mechanics, obviously new characters, a whole new setting, a new way to like interact with things, and what have you. So from what I've heard, Borderlands 3 is just Borderlands 2, the sequel.
Yeah, hence
You know
why
what I'm saying?
they've now released the new DLC.
Yeah,
for
Yeah. It
Borderlands
bridges the
2,
gap
which is a
between-
crossover. Yeah.
And I'm kind of upset by that because they're more playing it safe than they are trying to innovate something.
Oh, totally and utterly. Although, having
yeah,
said
because
that, I don't agree with 1 and 2. Like, I would say there's still a big. I'd still say they're quite similar games. Like,
No, they
and
are similar.
Story-wise,
like
to a
Destiny
degree as
1 and
well.
2.
That was changed. No, I wouldn't even say Destiny 1 and 2. Destiny 1 and 2 were kind
They're
of
the same game. They're
the
the same.
same.
Yeah, same.
The same game, better
But-
graphics.
But Borderlands 1 to 2, there was a lot more mechanics that changed in it. The perk system being one of them. Like the amount of bridges you could take with that, and the builds that you would actually like have builds based off of the guns and the perks that you were using.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were playing Siren back in the day, you'd want that OG conference call and B shield, and then just have the Siren use the ability that deals more damage when they're getting shot, and then you could one shot literally everything. I mean that weapon was a one shot with everything as well, but the Siren was built around that as well. Obviously, you had the mods and stuff like that, which each character was kind of. You didn't have to use a submachine gun if you wanted to, but if you were playing Siren, all the mods you were going to get were going to buff submachine guns by a shit ton. Like you were going to get the mods that were going to what's it called, like the weapon class mods that were going to buff your stuff up. So like they did a lot of different things.
See, I'm not actually too opposed to Borderlands 3 actually being, or them playing it safe even, because
I'm not.
even now, Borderlands 2's got so much replayability.
Yeah,
Like I could
no, 100%.
jump in now from the beginning and
But
just go.
Thing is, they want to take it safe with Borderlands 3 because you see like the fucking huge disappointment, which was the pre-sequel.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that
that
was
was
an
it's
appalling
2.5,
game.
wasn't it? Yeah.
It's probably a
So-
test. It's like, okay, what direction are we going to go in? How far are we going to...
Oh, it wasn't
like,
a
push
test. It was
forward?
made by a completely different studio.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
know
it was
that.
Yeah.
made by 2K Australia.
Yeah,
Oof.
and that's the thing though. Like, if you like shooters, you're gonna like Borderlands 3. If you
Yeah,
like
that's
Borderlands 2, you're gonna like Borderlands 3.
Oh,
Like,
totally not.
that's just the way it is. Like, anyone who wasn't too sure about Borderlands 2 ain't gonna really like Borderlands 3 too much, unless you like the way the characters are looking, like the main characters and the villains. Because obviously it's still the same graphical aesthetic. It's
Mhm.
still the same kind of class-based system, but
And
just like
it's just a different story to
Yeah.
a certain degree, different
Yeah.
bosses, different loot,
Yeah.
etc. The same
Yeah.
mechanics are still going to be there.
and Claptrap's voice actor is different.
Oh, really? I did
Yep.
not
Yeah,
notice that.
so the Claptrap's voice actor was someone who worked in the office, and he did the voice because they asked him to.
Yeah, he did it for
And then
free
when-
and everything.
And obviously Claptrap's the mascot. So in this game, he asked for money. He was like, "Well, fuck you, pay me," basically.
Yeah, it's too right.
And Randy's just like, no, I'm not doing that. You're doing it for free, or just you ain't doing it. So then he was just like, well, stuff you. I'll still work here, but I ain't doing this anymore. So they've actually paid someone to play as Claptrap, and I can't remember who the actual new voice actor is.
Should we set up a GoFundMe to get him back?
But this is what I mean.
Like, the
going back
consumers will pay
to-
for him.
Going back to
Exactly.
is that
Going
is
back to
that
Oh no,
Apple.
he
games
actually
do
left.
well- Games do well if you just remaster classics for the modern.
Oh, yeah,
circuit of
that's
way
what they're
to play
doing.
them.
That's what they're currently doing with. You've got SpongeBob, Destroy All Humans.
See, I have
Oh,
no
yes,
interest
like
in
Destroy All
any of that.
Humans. I'm so excited for Destroy All Humans. like,
Really?
Do you boys want to get the trailer?
favorite game. I remember being fucking 13 years old
Okay, right,
playing
I'm
a
so
fucking
not.
alien
So,
that just killed random
For
people.
Destroy All
Nah,
Humans,
mate.
guys. Do you want to all watch the video, like the trailer for Destroy All Humans? I've got it
Yeah,
up.
where is it?
No,
It's in the
not
dock.
interested.
Well,
I'll have a look.
It's in the dock.
I'll
It's in
have
the
a
dock.
look.
I can't get it.
We'll all play at the same time.
I saw it earlier today, saying that.
Where is it? Where is
I
it?
don't
Oh,
It's under
remasters.
remasters.
I see it.
Just tell me when you're all ready, and then we can
I
play.
was
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay. So
Go.
3, 2, 1, go.
hate it already.
Oh, I'm
It's
so
a classic game.
gassed. You
a
know,
classic
it's
game.
such a classic.
Shh.
I've got no audio.
Nice.
Also, the fact they used fucking heavy metal fucking
Hang on,
German
hang on.
in it. Oh,
I'm trying to
lit.
really like this.
Wow.
I mean, it's one of them ones you liked it back then, you're gonna like it now.
I don't think I ever played it, so
PS2 game.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I never played it.
It was critically put down as like it was a good game.
We can unmute the boys now.
Missing in a game
Welcome
that you
back.
played once upon a year when we were fucking a little youth or whatever.
I just wasn't playing that as a youth.
Exactly.
It was just Grand
but,
Theft
like,
Auto
as
or
a
something.
youth, I was playing. I was playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and this because I
I
had an
fucking
Xbox.
love San Andreas.
Mate, like, right, San Andreas is a game,
I sleep.
but like this game was a classic. Like it was one of those.
No,
things
San
you didn't-
Andreas though, is it?
It's no, it's not. But
It's like having a
it's
fake
one of,
cornetto. You know, that's not a
but it still
cornetto.
tastes good. It still
Oh,
tastes
God.
good. Like seriously, like a
need to
cornetto's a
stop
cornetto.
shouting.
Like that's it. Like
But it's not a
eat it,
cornetto,
tastes
is
the
it?
same. What was
It's
the
like you
difference
eat
with
it.
The brands that produce
You
the
just
same
know.
ice cream
You
flavor.
just know.
Yeah, fine, but like it's all ice cream.
Okay.
You know, at the end of the day, you're not in Africa, not eating ice cream, so be blessed.
Fuck, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, this game was a
Fucking
classic to people that played it and that were blessed to play it because it was.
It was a
something that
classic to
enjoyable.
all PS2 players.
Exactly.
No,
same with-
It's
wasn't
really.
me.
It is. It is a
Yeah,
classic.
but not
It
for
is a
me. Yeah,
classic.
no, I'm not disputing that. Just I'd never played it.
It's like I won't pick it up because I never
That's what the
played it.
difference is. But that's what the difference is. Once you like, if it's for example like where Crash Bandicoot was remastered because
I love Crash Bandicoot, but I
Because
wouldn't
it's a
play it
classic.
again.
played it,
But I
some-
wouldn't
some
play it
people-
again.
So like Rob was obsessed. Rob has bought like the posters and he's got the game and blah, blah, blah because it was a game that he played a lot as a kid, and so they're just trying to market and branch out to all these people that played games. That they
I
knew
get,
they
yeah,
did well
totally,
with.
and utterly. I
And
I
this will make
understand
Yeah.
the reason they're doing it.
'Cause
And I
not only
understand the
will it-
logic behind it, because loads of people are going to want to, as proven. But it's just that has no appeal. I don't know what old game would I like to see. It's a hard one to answer. Maybe another
like,
Rayman
I
game.
don't know.
Rayman was
Well,
alright.
Rayman, they
Oh,
are
this is producing the
making a
games,
Rayman
like,
4.
Studios.
yeah.
Studio's dead though, isn't it? Wasn't it
Mine
Eidos?
is, see, if they wanted to reproduce a good game, I just want to see like James Bond Goldeneye. I'd want to
Oh
see that
yeah,
in a
good
game.
point.
Do you know what
All
I
right,
mean?
that was a very good game.
It was a good game, and it's because you enjoyed the experiences that you remember the game. So this
Some
game,
of the
I just
Lara
remember,
Croft, actually Lara
Oh
Croft
my
games were
God.
sick. Dude.
literally like, I'm actually getting gassed. Like,
Okay. So, yeah. To go on for more exclusives. Exclusive classics. You got the SpongeBob trailer in that as well.
I
No
actually
need to watch
haven't
it
seen anything
together.
about that. I haven't
because
seen anything about
It is just a.
Legend.
I
An
actually am
announcement
gonna
trailer.
watch it. I am gonna watch it.
There's no gameplay there.
Oh, that's
I
all.
have not seen this advert, so I'm just gonna be quiet while I watch it.
I wasn't really a fan of SpongeBob either. It was a bit weird.
But
Really?
it wa-
They're actually
Creeped
remaking the
me
series
out.
of them, right? They're
I
making a
already
new
don't
series
like it.
where SpongeBob's a kid.
Just weirded
kid?
me out, dude.
Yeah.
It's the
'cause-
wrong graphics. It's too.
Why can't they
Yeah,
remake
right,
like
it's
the
like OG.
Powerpuff Girls or
Ah! Right, I'm not.
They did.
Dexter's Laboratory?
They
What
did
is it
remake
money?
Powerpuff Girls. It was dog shit.
What? They
I'm pretty-
remade it.
Yeah, they made like a new series. I'm pretty sure
It's because it wasn't as dark. They didn't have like Mojo
that's it.
Jojo.
they had that fourth Powerpuff Girl. It was
Oh,
like the black
shut
girl with the green
up
hair.
About her, sick of it. They,
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually.
So they
know a
did
lot
remake
about
it.
this, being the homo that I am. They remade Powerpuff Girls into a new series for Cartoon Network, and I watched it, and I was like, really like. I honestly was. I've
It
never.
wasn't
been
as
so hyped.
dark. Was it not
It
as
wasn't
dark?
So old cartoons
Gosh,
really
no.
like were legit. Like, do you know what I mean? They
Fucking
really
dark.
genuinely like were legit about real dumb legit crap that was going on. But they'd make it cartoon, so everything was like good and dandy because you were a kid and you didn't understand what was going on. Nowadays, it's all about wow, we're all friends and look at how we can solve these problems together.
Together.
Yeah.
We
Like,
can
no one
overcome
cares, sis.
anything
We want to see the
together.
doom and gloom and everything's going bad, and that's what we care about. Okay, people love pessimism. Okay, so
Yes,
just market that.
I totally
But
agree.
they made the new Powerpuff Girls with that fourth Powerpuff Girl who
Disgusting.
Was
honestly
her name
like,
Bunny?
something like that. They already had a fourth Powerpuff Girl where like they made like the ugly Powerpuff Girls.
That was
I'm sure
Bunny.
You remember that? Like
That one was Bunny.
that was legit my spirit animal, like the ugly Powerpuff Girl. Like I am there for it. Okay, but
I
the
like
new Powerpuff
Bubbles.
Girls-
Bubbles.
Bubbles was not Bubbles, Clover,
hell.
not Clover. Oh my
She
god, I
was
mixed
so
up Total
thick, but
Spies
I loved
right
it.
now. Like I'm sick of it.
Okay.
Buttercup was like the
Um,
one.
We're gonna
Oh,
get
wait,
back
what
on
was
track.
the dark gothic one? Hang on.
Buttercup.
No, it
No.
weren't.
I'm thinking
Buttercup
of
was
Totally
the
Spies
redhead.
again. Like,
Okay,
what am I
are we-
going on about?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to topic.
Yes, yes. I'm gonna
Powerpuff
go
Girls
Google
in
this
here.
while you're doing.
Oh my days.
You've gone to a
So,
good subject.
It was Buttercup.
What was everyone's opinions on the
What's
new
it-
Halo announcement? Halo Infinite.
I am
Yeah, I
excited.
can't wait for Halo. Love Halo.
He
Oh,
finished the fight, but he finished the fight. He finished the fight. So why is there more fight?
incoming. Someone got big and they're like, yeah, right, we'll go again. I don't know.
I mean, the
I've not-
premise is cool. It obviously ends with like the Halo being destroyed, like it's all dead and whatever. I don't remember. Do you know what? I don't know what I'm gonna say because I didn't even play Halo 5. I played Halo 4.
I played
don't think
Halo
anyone
1 to
played
3.
Halo
That's
5.
all I played. I played 1 to 3.
Yeah, I mean, 3 was obviously the whole marketing campaign was finish the fight. This is the fight, like the Covenant. You against the Covenant is this is it. Like, and then
I played the PS2 one.
and then Halo 4 came out.
I literally played the ones on the original X, and then I
Xbox
bought then I
360.
bought then I bought a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't.
Like, I'll be interested to see what it looks like, but I kind of fell off. The last one I bought was Reach. No, the last one I bought was 4.
Is there going to be a
mhm.
story mode with it?
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's
Last
the
Halo I played
trailer's
was
story
4.
trailer.
If there's a story mode, that's all I'm interested in.
The
because I'll
trailer's
play
the
it,
trailer's
but,
the story
like,
trailer.
I'm not interested in the the 6v6s or whatever, which you find on Halo. That's not my thing. I
It
want to
starts.
play Halo for the story. That's it.
It starts off. It starts off. I think pretty much at the end of 5. Like the Halo's been blown up. Chief is floating in space. Guy finds him, brings his suit back online. And Chief's just like, "We gotta fight," and then he jumps out the ship. And that's
like
literally how the
Keanu.
trailer ends. It's literally a story trailer. So
Is that in the dock? I'm just gonna go.
the trailer isn't, but the obviously
We
it's just Halo
discussed
Infinite.
another thing that I'm just checking in the dock. There you go. Call it Groovy. We've not discussed the fact they are doing a new World of Warcraft.
And this is where I go make a coffee because I have no interest in this.
At
So
all.
I'll be
In
back.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I never
Damn.
played it, so
Okay.
all right.
I played a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong. I have like very minimal knowledge in World of Warcraft. I have like next to none. I played a little bit, like I don't know, for 4 months because it was free for some reason. But I have been following it. I have been like keeping an eye on what's going on because I do know that it is a game that I would like to get into because of it's huge. Like so many people.
I'll be
play
playing it. We
great.
will 100% be
Mhm.
playing
I
Classic.
know that they're doing stress tests this month, June.
It's 22nd
they're
of June, I'm
doing
pretty sure.
19th
22nd of...
No, 19th to
it?
20th. They did
Ah,
the
okay.
22nd to 23rd last month, and then
Oh,
next
yeah.
18th to
Okay.
19th. So, and the character creation will start in August 13th. So, look at me, got my notes up.
Damn.
Yeah. I can only bring up the topic because I know nothing about it.
Yeah, Kush, you are the main man for WoW.
Not really. Like that's
Out of
more
us, you are the main
Sid.
man for WoW.
Yeah, out of us.
Sid's not
Yeah,
here.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Take it away, dude.
I got nothing else to say, mate. Yeah, I'll be playing it. It looks really great. I can't wait. Oh my god. Like that is it. At the end of the day, if you've played classic WoW, I can't. If no one here can rapport off me and bounce back, like what's the point? Did
Like,
anyone
I
here
know-
play
I
classic
know-
WoW? Anyone
I-
here play classic WoW?
I don't know what World of Warcraft I played. I couldn't give you. So I genuinely could not
Well,
do it.
When did you play?
I played it when I was 14, so that's 8 years ago.
Damn.
That actually may have been classic, to be fair.
So I played it when it was just all I knew it as was World of Warcraft. There was no like name after it. It was just World of Warcraft. My friend had it, and they were like, "Play it with me," and I was like, "Okay."
Say
and I
8 years
really-
ago.
8 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been.
Okay, so that's the game I played, and I played it for 4 months, and I was like, "Wow, this is a really cool game." But then I was like, "I'm not really willing to pay monthly."
No, I don't know if it
for a
would have
game.
been. Hang on, 8 years ago? Wow, that's so long.
Oh, right, don't.
can't
Like,
think
let's not.
back
Like, I genuinely feel old. World of Warcraft, 2011. That's
So it's
2000.
released in 2004.
It would have been.
How old?
It's just saying the
Well,
original.
2011
It's
it
only
would have
bringing up the original World of Warcraft.
No, it was not. No, yeah. So that predates me. Wow, 2011. I'd left high school by then. This.
Well, okay, look, okay, I'm the youngest of this damn group. Okay, let's know.
I'm the youngest of this dumb group.
What do you mean? How old are you now?
I'm 20.
Sis, you've got like such an old man life.
Tell me about it.
I always think you're such an old man. Like,
I agree. I do.
I'm
agree.
like, I genuinely feel older than I felt just now because I realized I am. So
You are quite old.
I'm 22, like, and I'm actually
So
now going
old.
back to college. Like, I went to do an exam. I had to do my college entry exams, of which I didn't. No one told me there were exams, by the way. I just turned up and they're like, "Oh, there were 2 exams," and I was like,
Okay.
"Okay." And they were like GCSE level, like math and English, but like, I haven't done ratios in like 6 years. Like, are you having a laugh?
Oh
So
shit! Are you
I
serious?
passed. I passed with flying colors because
Okay.
I love bullshitting my way through life.
Mhm.
But like, damn, I can't believe I'm older than everyone except Kush, because Kush is old.
No, I'm young.
You're old, babes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
but
pretty
I
old.
live a young lifestyle.
you're
You
30
what
next
do you
week, mate.
mean? You have like literal like depressive alcohol problems.
Okay,
Sis.
right, let's get back on topic.
They're not depressive. they're just
Apex
alcohol
Legends
problems.
Season 2.
What's the next subject? Sorry.
Take it away with
I'm back.
Apex.
Oh, I am on the ball. Like,
Yeah, I would just say I will be going Warlock in World of
going
Warcraft.
Okay, yeah, we're off that
That-
now.
That
Okay.
discussion. Sure.
Apex
So
Season 2.
Apex Legends releases season 2 on July 2nd. And I know that they are still wanting to stick with their seasonal release. So that means they'll be going with a majority release at the beginning of the season with, like a few bits and bobs along the way, which I feel like, a lot of the community has already turned around and said this isn't what we want.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted, regular releases at a, consistent rate. So, interesting for them to choose the same approach, even though that's been a big, big topic of everyone all across the place. But they are going with a new battle pass style, where it'll be challenge based rather than,
So like a
hectically for
Fortnite
your
Battle
level up.
Pass.
Yeah, which I think is way
That
better.
new rank mode that they teased sounds really
Apex
good.
Elite, I
Yeah.
honestly,
It
like, I've been playing a
Kind
couple
of sounds
games.
broken as well, though, because you
What do you
can
mean?
just avoid everyone in a game and
Do you
make
know
top
Well,
what, though?
5.
Then you're gonna
Okay,
get stomped.
You say that though, okay, so you can play that method, but when you get into Elite, the storm is 3 times as strong at the first storm. So you get melted, like melted
Mhm.
immediately. Like, I did not realize it. We were playing an Elite game, and I thought, nah, it's just the first storm, no sweat. I got caught in it for no more than 5 seconds. I was dead. Like, that was it. Like, it's to play an aggressive game. And I
Okay.
think it's really clever the way they've done it, because sure, you have to land top 5, so it gives it gives 15 players per game access to this other one because they've done genuinely well, or it's been luck.
Mhm.
And
And
the
if
ones
you're
then, if it's lucky, you'll be weeded
So
out.
that's where
Hey,
I
if
was
you're-
misinformed then, because I thought the Elite was basically the same like game, just with like better players essentially.
No. So
Nah. So
the
if
storm is stronger, and the loot drops are, I think, higher. I think you
yeah,
have
and
a
they added a
higher
new weapon, didn't they?
yeah, they have a higher likelihood of getting better weapons in your drops.
It's
So
meant to
that-
be like it's speed battle royale.
Yeah, exactly that.
It's a really small
So it's a really good thing, because the thing is as well, when you play normal Apex, it's easy to end up top 5. But then when you play the Elite, if you're you're finding the normal games a bit easier, the Elite one pushes you that to play a bit more aggressive, play a bit more like at the front and doing stuff. So I think what they're doing is very clever, and it will re-spark a lot of interest.
I think they need to make or if they are making, announce the second map. Otherwise, it's gonna like drop
So what they're doing is,
fairly quickly.
oh, I actually have all the information. I feel like a salesperson right now, says like,
Well, I
Yeah,
watched-
you had it with
I did-
Apple, now you put
So,
it with Apex. Let's
they
go.
are
Apex.
remastering the map because
Yeah,
they
that's
don't want
not
to
what you
make a
want.
new map, but they're creating map events.
Yeah, I know that much.
So they'll be creating something that will cause the map to shift and rotate differently around certain areas, so you can still work it around your playstyle. I know that they are in the works with another map, but it doesn't look like that will be released until about season 3. let's have a look. So I know that with their battle pass, a lot of people were complaining around the fact that it was just banner stuff. No one gives a crap about banners. Like, you get what you get and it goes on. So now they've changed it. There are 3 new content types, which they've not released yet for stuff that's within their battle pass. So I'm intrigued to look at what that might be. Because obviously they've already released like skins. They've already released weapon skins, banner stuff, borders. So I want to know what they're releasing with that.
They're taking
'cause
up
there's
bunny
not enough-
hopping.
They've
bunny
taken
hop
out bunny
anymore.
hopping. That's true. You can still do it. It's just not as good.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing because it, not everyone plays that style. It should be more about what.
Well, no, but
if
it's
you wanted to
something
have
you
it in the
can do.
game,
It's something you can do, but it wasn't added
it's not
intentionally.
accessible. Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's also like bunny hopping in any Source game. You can still do it in CS.
Yeah, but that's
But they limit your speed.
true.
Like,
Oh,
you
did
can
they?
get 2 hops off, and then you're stuck at that speed.
Ah, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, that makes
So
sense.
if they'd have released it intentionally and then removed it, I'd be mad because
But
obviously
it was
they put a mechanic in, but people have taken advantage of an engine and something they
Yeah.
know that works within it,
Yeah.
but that they hadn't taken into consideration. And it wasn't
guess.
accessible by everyone. You had to, rebind stuff to make it work, easier for everyone. And
It was a glitch.
it made it harder for people that had just started playing the game because they don't have the know-how to have these things that give advantages to another team. So I think it's a good move because it makes people have to play around the circumstance rather than how how to take advantage of an engine.
Titanfall died for this. I'm just gonna put that out there. Titanfall died for this. That makes me so upset, man. I
think
so badly
I
wanted
love
Titanfall.
I
the
think they're
original
gonna make.
Titanfall.
I think they're gonna make a new Titanfall.
Well, that's
I think it just goes
why
back.
people were
I
saying
think
that
they're gonna
this
make a
game
new
looks like
Titanfall.
dog shit when it came out,
Because it was
because
meant to be a filler. I think it
was
was
meant
never
to be.
meant to be.
Yeah, they kind of pushed something out.
It
But
was
I
never
don't know,
meant to be
man.
as big as it
I
was.
think
It was
they're
gonna be
still
just
putting
a
on most of the
filler.
resources into this game. I don't
They're
think
not.
they're working
They're
on
really
Titanfall.
not. They're
I feel
not.
like Titanfall's on the back burner.
It's already been released. They've still only got 26 staff working on this game.
Well,
26
on Apex.
staff on Apex. 26.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
For how many players? It's outrageous.
Yeah, that's not a good thing
They
at
were
all.
never expecting it, and they never had the resources
Talk
to
about
release
crunch.
to it. So that's why it's so slow, and why they're so apologetic for all the things that they can't do because they just don't have those resources.
They don't have the
So-
manpower.
Exactly. So I'm always forgiving of all the crap that happens because at the end of the day, it's a free game. It cost me nothing, and I got things from it, and it was a good experience.
Didn't cost me nothing.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if you bought the battle pass, fine. But like, if you
Yeah.
bought the battle pass, you can earn enough
Oh, I'm
credits
on about
by
the loot
leveling up the
boxes,
battle pass to get the next battle pass for free, which I think is
Yeah.
probably the best thing I've ever seen in a battle pass.
Yeah.
Is that you bought one, if you play it enough, you get the next one for free. I wish more games would do that. Because like there are so many other games that I buy a battle pass for, and some I'll forget, sure, but some I'll play really heavily. But you don't get that. You don't get the commitment bonuses. Do you know what I mean? With the battle pass for Apex, though, they have released. There'll be a Caustic and Octane legendary skin, and a Spitfire, and 2 R301 legendary skins.
Just add a badge.
I got those up now.
So they've already released one of the R301s, which all you have to do is pass level 15 on the original battle pass, which most people have done. So you'll get other things, and you get a Wraith skin with that as well. And I'm intrigued to see what the Spitfire skin will be because it's become a meta within the game because it's just bloody infinite ammo. It's outrageous. They have revealed that there will also be 2 new hop-ups. Which they're not willing to release any information for, and then one of them is related around.
It's for the Mozambique.
Yeah, one of them's going to be a meme.
Oh, you're actually going to beef up the Mozambique?
Yeah, apparently so. Which I am
They're
very
saying
excited
it's
to
actually
see.
going to be usable.
Because the thing is, the 2 guns that aren't usable are the P2020, unless you've got like attachments for it, and the Mozambique. And the Mozambique is just a dog crap.
The thing with the Mozambique though, like you didn't really have to do like damage values wise. Just give it a bigger clip.
Exactly. It needs
give
4.
it 6.
4.
Like
It needs
4
3,
to
it needs
6.
4.
Yeah.
But the thing is, 4 is enough to kill someone.
Yeah.
If you hit 4 shots dead on, it's enough to kill someone. And that's all you need. All guns should minimum be able to kill someone without armor, with a full clip on base. You know, like
Yeah.
at least.
That makes
So
sense.
like you think about like the wingman, which you can get up to is
In
it
one
10
shot.
bullets now? 10
Yeah.
bullets at a maximum of 110. That's 1,100 damage if I've
Yeah.
done like, you know, bad math quickly. That's like that's 10 times the base health. That's an outrageous gun. But
And
like
obviously it's multiplied by 2 if you hit someone in the head.
oh, do
So-
not. Like it's just outrageous as a gun, okay? But like you can't put enough of it in a clip of a
Yeah.
Mozambique to kill someone as a base gun, which is found like literally everywhere. It's
Yeah.
outrageous. They've also got that new weapon, which is the All-Star, which is a gun from Titanfall. I
Yeah.
didn't really
Again,
look into
the thing
it
was
that much
crazy.
from it. But it is a gold weapon drop only, which all their gold weapons, you know, are OP as heck. So you got the Kraber and the
Shotgun.
You got the
I can't
Mastiff,
remember
is
what
it?
it's called. Mastiff.
Mastiff,
the
that's
one,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
So those two guns are OP, and I think it's good for them to have another vibe of gun because I'm sick of shotgun. I'm sick of it just being shotgun fights or just being like sniper fights. You know, who has the golden gun, who doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's nice for them to add something to start varying out what guns counter best guns. And they've also got a ranked mode coming as well, which
Okay.
will be ranked between bronze to Apex
It's
Predator.
a massive update. Like
Yeah.
first for a new
What
season.
about the
Yeah.
new
doing a lot.
character? Like the
So
new champion?
character is called Watson. They released an illustrated short around it. Basically, her
You just call it a
father-
character. Sorry, hang
Did
on.
I?
A
Did I just
champion.
got a character? I said a champion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I got them confused.
Legend.
Maybe I said both at the same time. You know,
Might
same.
have.
You know what I was on about.
Yeah.
Something pedantic, you ass. Basically, they did a whole illustrated short with lore and backstory. Her father is the one that created the ring.
She was born in the ring.
Exactly. Her father created King's Canyon. She was the one that they created the thing and how it all worked. And I'm pretty sure if I read a bit more into it, it's something to do with they created how the storm itself works, what creates the damage.
And that's what links into her abilities.
It all links into her abilities, yeah. So her ability can be, from the looks of things, quite long-winded, but it looks like it's going to be something that's going to counter third partying, which you know is the biggest problem at the minute for.
You can shot in the back.
It's
Yeah.
the biggest problem is you finally find a situation where you're winning a fight, and then you win that fight, and you put all that work in, and another team comes along, and that's the end of the game.
So it seems like this legend might have to be like it's like a pickle ban situation. Like most of the time, you're gonna maybe want to have someone playing as Watson.
Yeah.
Maybe over
And what? She's a big support, so
Lifeline.
you'll have to replace Lifeline with us.
Exactly.
Well, not
That's what I'm
necessarily,
thinking.
because people still play Lifeline and Pathfinder, even though they're both support heroes. And yeah, sure, it's because Pathfinder's hitbox is so broken.
Yeah, and he's crazy with the movement as well.
Oh my god, so crazy with the
Obviously,
movement.
Lifeline's
Lifeline self-heal,
res for
which
free,
is great, and res
essentially.
is so good. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like you could play triple support and it will become a new meta. I feel like it will be such a powerful thing that you won't need any of these attack ultimates anymore because you can play heavy defense.
3
instead.
supports and a Bangalore or what's his face?
Wraith.
No,
So-
not Wraith.
Jib,
The big boy.
Jib or
Gibraltar.
Caustic.
Gibraltar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that
Well,
AOE effect
Watson
damage.
could easily
Yeah, Watson counters.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Replace
Counters
Gibraltar.
so heavy. You don't even
Yeah.
need Jib anymore.
Like
That's the
her
thing. I think
ultimate.
that's so crazy. And her passive, where one
Alt recharge.
yeah, completely does her entire ult.
That's why I was wondering why I did that.
It's outrageous. It's
Yeah.
so good. So her passive is that you can use the what are they called?
They're like alt recharge.
Ultimate accelerants.
Ultimate
Accelerants.
accelerants. That's it. Thank you. So yeah, one ultimate accelerant equals 100%.
Yeah.
So you don't need
which
to stack
is
them anymore. You only need to hold 1 or 2. And the thing is, you chuck one of them down, grenades are stopped, ults are stopped. It's
until it gets shot.
outrageous. Until it gets shot, yeah, sure. But the
But
thing
it means
is,
you've got to
if
focus on.
You need to focus on that and not on the team, so the team can focus on
Yeah,
you
of
while
course.
they're
And
inside.
obviously, you can't blow it up with nades. So
Exactly. So it becomes a defensive, offensive weapon.
chuck it behind a wall. Chuck a force field behind it.
Genius.
And if you've got a
broken.
Watson, in the like tiny small arena where there's like 3-4 teams
Chuck
maybe
it in a house
left.
or something like that.
If you use your, I don't know what it is. Like, I haven't played
Yeah,
Apex in a
I've
while,
forgotten the name
but
of
her
it.
walls,
The force field things, yeah.
yeah, her walls alert you if someone's
where they
passed
are.
through them.
Yeah, and it also gives a slow effect as well. So if you stuck them in places that people have to run through to get out of the storm, you
Yeah.
can catch them in that storm.
Or
and then they're
say
killed by
there's
the
like
storm.
it's a tight area, you don't know where the team are going to come from. If you put these walls up on the choke points, you know where they are.
I mean, they can get shot down as well.
So her ultimate is called Interception Pylon. And that is where, so let me just bring up all this information here. So it's called Interception Pylon, and it places an electrified pylon that destroys incoming ordnance and repairs damaging shields as long as it stands. So you can place up to 3 of them as well.
That's
So
kind
you
of
can have 3
busted.
things
Have
charging
3
your
ults.
shield
That's
continuously
kind of stupid.
while you're within it. Not necessarily though, because as you
No,
said,
I think that's
you
a
can
bit
shoot
busted.
it. I don't know how much health it is.
You
So
put it
it
behind a
could-
rock.
But if you
put
put
it
it
in a
behind a
house.
rock, sure. But I don't know how the area of effect works. So
Yeah.
you have to be in line
It
sight
didn't
of
look like
the
it
way
was
has to
that
be.
big of an area.
It
Like
wasn't
in
that
the
big. No,
gameplay.
you had to put 3 for it to be really big of an area. And obviously you've got Spark of Genius, which is a passive that gives you the 100%. Sure, you can bust them off, but how long does one of those really take? It takes quite a while to
Yeah.
produce one of those, so you can't really produce that big area very quickly. So sure, you can pull it off, but you really have to have the really good team setup and the real good coordination to be able to pull it off and it be genuinely effective. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be a game changer. Like, I love the game. I love playing it, but I'm just continuously sick of putting the work in and then just being third-partied by a level of
Yeah.
like 13, 14s who have just been sitting out waiting.
Yeah, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all the info I have on it.
Oh,
They're doing a rework on Bloodhound.
a Bloodhound
really?
rework.
Yeah, they're doing a rework on Bloodhound because his ultimate at the end of the day is a disadvantage, and so is his ability because it reveals. So I think they're completely changing up how it works.
He's the only one in the game who's like He's the only one in the game who. Oh, I think it's a she. She's the only one in the game that actually is in that scout type archetype. Everyone else is like support and attacker and defender.
Apparently, originally in the beta version of it, originally when you use the ability, you could see them walking in the buildings.
Right.
So it was originally way more OP, and people were like, "This is outrageous! You can't
It was
have
like a pick a
this."
ban again.
And then
yeah.
they nerfed it way too hard. So I think they're now going to try and find a good mid ground, which I'm looking forward to because he's the only character I don't actually enjoy playing ever. I've played all the other characters and had a laugh with them, depending on the area I'm playing in, but I just don't see the point of playing him.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have on Apex Legends.
Which was surprisingly a lot.
It was a lot. Like, I wrote so
Yeah.
many notes on it. I remember like watching the E3 release and just blasting the notes out.
I created an oopsie which will need to be fixed post edit.
Groovy, love that.
Apparently the topic for this was World of Warcraft.
Well,
sure, it happens.
It's the same thing, right? They're all games.
You want to bother talking about Stadia?
We can because of the Uplay Plus.
Uplay Plus.
Yeah, which is like directly incorporated into Stadia.
Oh, this thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, you know what? No, I have a couple thoughts, things on this.
Go.
So obviously, Stadia is Google's intro to the gaming console market. You have to stream the games. You can't physically own them or download them. It's only a streaming service, which is still kind of strange to me. They announced this, and everyone's like, but internet isn't good enough. Like, fiber optic is a thing in the UK and in Europe and what have you, and like Germany has like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Germany has like 100 down, and I think that's like the highest you can get in Europe. Like we ain't Asia. Asia's obviously has the highest when it comes to internet connections.
And if you take the UK infrastructure as a whole, is fucking shit.
Yeah,
compared to the rest of the world.
and even worse, America, because they have to choose from Verizon and AT&T, and both of them you can't get unless you want to pay like a few $100s. You can't get unlimited internet. So I think I read a statistic that said, I think it was something stupid of like, if you were to stream a game for 20 hours, I think it uses 1 terabyte worth of download.
Oh
Holy
dear.
fuck.
It's something along those lines. It wasn't a very long amount of hours, but I remember seeing that it was 1 terabyte worth of download. If you have a data cap, like rip you. You're playing like that game for 2 hours a night for the next 3 weeks.
See,
like,
great idea, great principle, but the infrastructure's not there for
and
like
then
most of us.
Microsoft happened, and they announced
What
that they're
happened with
doing the
Microsoft?
exact same thing. So
Oh, really?
Microsoft have a service called, what is the name for it? Was it Microsoft Cloud?
Oh, the xCloud.
Yeah, something like that. So was it actually called X? Yeah, Project
Yeah.
xCloud. So it is Stadia, but just Microsoft. It's the exact same thing, but on an Xbox. So you already have a console for this type of thing. Obviously Stadia is like going to be like a hell of a lot cheaper, but this is going to be $9.99 a month instead of $14.99 a month. I think is what it is. Is it? Yeah, $14.99 a month for 100 plus games, DLCs, and new releases. Whereas
That's cute. I like that.
Microsoft's cloud gaming is lets Xbox and PC users. So this is Xbox and PC for $9.99 a month. And I think they announced an overall service for, I think it was $34 a month or something like that, and it gives you, or it might have even been like 15, but basically it gives you what the Stadia is doing, Xbox Live Gold, and all the benefits of Gold. So you're still getting like your free games each month. You're still getting online services to whatever. You're still getting like that whole range of like the media format that is the Xbox One. And then you're also getting the xCloud, which you can use on PC as well as your Xbox One. So it's a bit strange. I don't know anyone who's going to get. Well, I know some streamers who are going to get this, who are going to buy it because they have to know, and they're going to see what it's like. But beyond that, this thing ain't consumer friendly. Google's done a.
I think it's a good like.
Google's done a
pathway
weird.
to
Yeah.
something.
I mean, there's been so many. Do you guys remember GameFly by chance? You remember that service?
No.
GameFly was a service where you could rent games essentially, but you would stream them. So I think it's called
Streaming
GameFly.
games has been around for a while.
It's been around for a while, and like it didn't work.
Right,
It just doesn't work.
It can't yet. Like that's
Exactly,
the thing.
because the
It's before
internet
its
is
time.
good.
It's just before its time.
Because you
Yeah.
had Nvidia did a similar thing with GeForce Now, is it?
Yes. Yes, you're right.
But
Yep.
with that platform, you were paying to stream the games. Like you'd play games that you already owned, like through Steam, and they'll be downloaded through Nvidia's servers, like instantly when you needed them. Which meant you could play your games
Yeah.
on a terrible PC. But with these systems that are coming into effect now, with xCloud and Stadia is free to use,
What
but
do you mean?
the base Stadia is free,
You've
completely
got the
free.
basic version of it, and then you've
Oh, I
got
didn't actually see that.
paid
So
version.
Yeah.
what?
Okay, so with Stadia base, the resolution is up to 1080, frame rate is 60, and that's it, basically.
All right.
But then you still, on top of that, you still need to buy the games, which can either be done through the store or through other methods such as Uplay Plus, like that's being integrated into Stadia. That's like your only source of games, like pretty much. You can't play games that you already own. They need to be part of Stadia.
That's.
But then you've got Stadia Pro, which is an upgrade. That's £9 a month.
Right.
That increases your resolution up to 4K. It gives you free games.
Man, streaming 4K resolution. Come on.
It will give you free games regularly. I didn't say that right, but oh well. and that starts with Destiny 2. And
Let's see what
you also
5G
get
brings.
exclusive discounts on like new games releasing.
Well, I remember hearing something about 5G actually, and how it's not actually beneficial.
Well, it is like the first initial phase of 5G is not going to be. It's the same as 4G. Like most
Yeah.
in reality, most places now I can't even get 4. But
Where are you
with
living?
5G, I'm rural, dude. I'm out
In the middle of nowhere?
Yeah,
So of
got
course
it
you
here.
can
He
get
is in the middle of
4G.
nowhere.
That's the thing. Like, I'm pretty sure you're when you have when you're given like a phone contract or like a contract or what have you, it's usually set for the area that you're in. And when you move out of that area, I feel like your coverage isn't as good. So like, if I went down to your area, you'd have 4G and I wouldn't.
See, I'm with 3, and
I'm with 3.
Yeah.
And a lot of
And
places I go to don't allow it. Like, it's just the connection just doesn't.
if I recall, if I recall, we do the same thing, right? Coffee. We both have. You've got a dongle, or not a dongle, but you've
I have
got
a
a
router
hub.
now, 4G router.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay. So I still use the method of my 4G to download stuff, pretty much. With 5G, like at the moment, I get okay, acceptable downloads. It could be a lot better, but with 5G, initially it's not going to be great, but give it maybe a year, 2 years, the infrastructure will eventually roll out, and it may be plausible for the whole streaming thing, because it is all you can eat data, and I could use as much as I want and not have any penalties at all.
Well, the thing about all you can eat data as well is there is a data cap.
Not for free, but if you've got a third.
They slow you.
Yeah, there'll be a
but
data cap, and then as soon as you've hit that, they will like slow your speeds down. That is how it works.
What it is.
I don't know how much I can. I don't know how.
But
I mean,
I've
it's
not
a
experienced
legitimate app. It is bypassable. Trust me. It's
let's not talk about that on stream.
The problem with 5G is that
It's just
you
like
know, the amount of
jailbreaking.
construction that's necessary with 5G need to be made. So it was already announced in about 2017, mid about there. They need at least 400,000 extra phone masts to bring 5G to life.
Really, that many?
That's
400,000.
That's insane.
That's why I said it's not viable.
It's not viable. It doesn't make sense to take up all that rural space.
Okay, so
to produce a
why
bit extra fast internet? You know what I mean?
Why would it need that many? Why can it not just like?
Because it's not. It's the
It's
infrastructure
because-
at the moment isn't strong enough.
That
Yeah.
many?
It's not
That's
exactly
insane.
400,000. I'll send you the.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's actually insane. That
It's
can't
just
be
like
right.
like the difference between 2.4 and 5 gigahertz networks.
I've sent you.
Yeah.
Like you need to be closer to access the 5 gigahertz networks because they don't broadcast that.
It's not strong enough.
Yeah, basically they don't broadcast a large range, so they can have the power basically closer to the thing.
Better internet, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll need more masts to cover the same amount of area.
See, this was to be fair, this was over 2 years ago, right?
But it will still be the same.
Oh, I didn't hear that, mate. Sorry,
they predicted it in about mid 2007.
Sorry.
But either way, Google Stadia is still going to be. You're going to need decent internet to be able to do anything with it.
Eventually down the line, I can understand it, and I think it will actually become. But it's nowhere near where it needs to be right
It's
now.
not ready. It's not ready.
No, it isn't. It's before its time.
Exactly.
I can't even screen.
But then you can't shun it, because if we were to go back onto the VR conversation earlier, like VR happened many moons ago when I was a little kid.
Yeah, it did,
there was VR editions. Obviously, it never hit off because it was before its time. But you need people to be creative and innovative.
Viable to support it as well.
You do, but at the end of the day, you can't. I like people being creative and innovative.
So do I, but I also like having the environment.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the environment
sustains us as a being.
As we go along, the world is going to become more populated anyway. That's just going to be a given fact.
That's why, for example,
that's why the environment is important.
Exactly, to go completely off subject to something else. That's why we're trying to go to the moon, to move to Mars, because we are overpopulating a planet that's already struggling to sustain us. So producing 400,000 more phone masts for a bit of faster internet is outrageous. We don't have that to just give away.
But it's not just what the fast, like, yeah, okay, we don't. I totally agree, and I love the countryside, but at the same time, faster internet doesn't just mean like quicker games and better ping,
What does it mean?
etc.
What do you benefit from apart from
You get it just paves the way for take the first initial computer and then build it up from there, like more internet. I don't really know, but of course someone somewhere with better internet can do more grandiose things and bigger things.
But do you need
on a
to do
smaller
those things?
scale?
Do you need to do those things? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
No,
a
you don't.
personal benefit.
No,
Sure,
no, I'm not
it's gonna
talking
be
about like the old
personally
Tom, Dick, and
beneficial.
Harry. I'm not talking about like me or you. I'm talking about like big institutions of like engineering and
But it's not
technology.
Oh
where
yeah, but they
actually
already
need-
have.
Unnecessary. They already have the
These-
technology to get the things they need at a good enough speed.
Yeah,
with
like
the technology
Nvidia.
we have.
Take
But a good
Nvidia for
enough speed-
example.
what is a good enough speed?
No,
We
right,
can't
hang
comment,
on.
can we?
Right, Kush.
Wow.
Take
minimum,
Nvidia for
bare minimum is
example.
good
Yeah.
enough.
Their GeForce Now, they can install Destiny 2, which is a 100 gigabyte game, in a matter of seconds.
That's good enough.
Like, that
that's
is good
beyond
enough.
Good enough.
Yeah,
We
but
don't need anything better.
Oh, that's a very close-minded comment to say, honestly. But
But right, what? No,
I
it's
won't.
not. It's a
No,
really
but it
close,
is.
bigger picture-minded image, because the thing is, it is just
Look
self-gluttonous
at the bigger
to take
picture.
up the space for the things that benefit everyone, and they do benefit everyone.
Everything, like all of this has benefited everyone. What?
But
That's a huge-
we don't need that technological advancement yet.
Of
It's
course
not
we do.
necessary.
Yeah,
For
we
what
do.
purpose?
We
Well, how
definitely
does it
do.
benefit us
To
apart
to
from
go
our
out to Mars,
ability
to
to
branch
space?
out into like
So
the
you're
we
saying-
need that.
Please give me a specific example. Where
I
it
can't
benefits
because I'm
us.
not that intelligent, but I can guarantee you now, like
But
some
I'm not
boffin
saying it.
from
I'm not saying
Cambridge
it's.
or
I'm not
someone-
saying it's not going to benefit us
Elon
at
Musk.
some point. But right now, the general public do not need that. They don't.
No, they
need
don't.
it.
The general public
Exactly,
do
and
not
that's
need
my
it.
point. Like, I do agree that it is going to become something that we need at
Big
some
institutions
point.
do massively.
Fine, but they already have the technology to.
They need
produce
more.
They don't. They don't need more. They
But
don't.
how do you
They
know
do
that?
not need more. Okay, so Rob works for a big technological company. They have not had a problem. Internet is not their problem. That, like, the speed that they can get things and get the information and transfer all their documents for a multinational company that deals with things. They don't need it. That's not their problem. Their problems are the technical interface.
I
So-
will agree to disagree,
Okay.
and let's
That's
move
fine.
on.
That's fine. We'll leave
Yeah.
there.
Okay. And that is all we have on the docks. So
Oh my goodness.
we've gone through a lot. It's been an hour and a half nearly.
It has been, yeah. No, when I went upstairs just now, I just got told off.
It's been
I'm in the doghouse.
It's been a good first step. So we're gonna have to end it there. And thanks for everyone coming along.
Thanks for listening.
No worries.
Thanks
yeah.
for watching our podcast.